Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the very first episode of Around the League with Nico here at Multiplex Entertainment. I'm your host, the Cosmic Nightfury, one of the heads of Sports Battlefield, yours truly, Nico Suave Regoli. And today we're going to talk all about everything that happened in Multiplex since we started launching, since we started uploading matches on June 1st. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Schmoedown Live, which I was there, so I can give you a little bit of a firsthand experience of what it was like being there. And, of course, we have our special guest, the man who keeps taking every single title there is, Chance the Titan Ellison. First, a little bit of a disclaimer here. So some of you who are involved in the Sports Battlefield tournament, I've sent some Facebook messages to you saying, hey, we're trying to get matches booked. And the plan was to get at least one match taped for this weekend. We've had some issues with question writing. There are some categories that we aren't very knowledgeable in that we're just struggling to write for. Be patient with us. We're working on it. But until we can get that sorted out, I'm announcing that I am dropping out as a competitor of the Sports Battlefield tournament. It's just too hard to compete and also work behind the scenes for that particular division. So now with the bracket restructured, we have 16 players in that tournament officially. Christopher Woodburn is now playing Dan Skip Allen, and Cody Newberry is playing Harry Broadhurst. There is no play-in match. That's how that tournament is going to go. 16 competitors. You've seen the brackets. That's how it's been rearranged. So I'm out of the Sports Battlefield tournament. What can you do? But moving on to more positive notes, let's talk about all the matches that have happened since we officially debuted Multiplex Entertainment. Normally, we'd go through all the matches in order as they happened, but I'm going to save the Fandom Fight and Movie Warzone play-in matches number ones for the end of this recap because they're both synonymous with one player who really impressed me this week. So we're going to start with Fandom Fight play-in number 2. We had Nazario Montenegro taking on my buddy Matthew Rosa, my other buddy Zadius Smith, the commissioner of Multiplex Entertainment, Tim Smith, and Movie Battlegrounds' own Subrath Sharma. And, Nazario Montenegro just showed why he's known as a beast in these leagues. Like, he knows his geek stuff. The man buys so much collectibles and memorabilia from every nerdum thing you've ever seen. Like, he owns an Infinity Gauntlet. He owns every lightsaber, every Lego set, and he doesn't let his kids play with it. He is literally Will Ferrell's character from the Lego movie. But Matthew Rosa, Zadie Smith, they showed that they are also knowledgeable in their fandom knowledge. Same for Subrath Sharma. He showed that he is knowledgeable in his fandom knowledge. Tim Smith, he tries. He's our boss. He tries so hard, but it just seems like if he started a league, he cannot get ahead of the game in it. Next, we move on. I should also say that because Nazario Montenegro won that 5-way play-in match, he will now be taking on our guest for later on today, Chance the Titan Ellison. It is number 1 seed versus number 16 seed. I can't wait to see how that match plays out. Now we move on to the Movie Warzone play-in match number 2. It was a 6-pack challenge. Christopher Woodburn, Hunter Chambliss, myself, Michael Campbell, Ryan Permison, and Kane McMillan, one of the heads of Tim is now pissed off at me that I kind of just I kind of threw him under the bus there. I'm sorry, Tim. So as I was saying, Woodburn versus Hunter versus me versus Kane versus Michael versus Ryan Permison. And the story of the match was mostly Michael Campbell just dominating the entire match. And then it came down to the last question. And Ryan Permison, he channeled that Hunter persona that he has, that Ric Flair persona. Woo! That just keeps him going through the matches with fire and brimstone. And he just pulled it out at the last possible second to take the title. Hunter Chambliss, he tried. He tried, but unfortunately it did not go his way. Christopher Woodburn and I, we tied for 4th place. Later on today, we're going to discuss how and by later on today, I mean when we get to my Fandom Fight match with Woodburn. There's some evidence and an argument to be made that I'm one of the luckiest round 2 wheel round players in the history of this community, because I just keep getting either player's choice or something I can work with. It's amazing. Kane McMillan, he had much better luck than myself and Woodburn did in round 3, and that led him to 3rd place. But again, the story of the match was Ryan Permison and Michael Campbell. Ryan Permison just barely winning at the last second. He will be taking on, again, Chance Ellison as number 1 versus number 16 once the tournament in round 1 of the Movie Warzone tournament. Michael Campbell, he will be getting the first match post-tournament of Movie Warzone, and I will be getting the second match against UFC fighter Sam Alvey. I hope you all are excited for that, as I am. I've been waiting for the longest time to take on a UFC fighter in anything, in any competition, and I finally get that chance. Excuse me. Now we move on to TV Tuesdays. TV Throwdown had a very special debut match. It was a showcase of my faction, House Nightfury. It was Zadius, Z-Man Smith, and Matthew Rosa. Now they both now Zadius, he came into the match with a very interesting promo. He said, "Lower your expectations. This is not going to be like how I did in the Arrowverse match. I'm going to try, and we're going to see what happens." And, you know, it paid off for him. It paid off for him because he did, in fact, win. He beat his own expectations. He lived up to the expectations a lot of people had set for him from his performance in the Arrowverse match, and he moves on to 1-0 in TV Throwdown. Matthew Rosa, he has now brought up a good argument that there is a difference between adult animation and kid animation, like content such as Teen Titans, My Life as a Teenage Robot, Young Justice, Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats, and there's a big difference between that and stuff like Bob's Burgers, South Park, Family Guy, American Dad. So now, strangely enough, I have on good authority from behind-the-scenes information that Matthew Rosa is now going to be writing a couple animation questions for future TV Throwdown matches. So both of my guys got something out of this particular match, and you know, I can't wait to see how Zadius does moving forward in TV Throwdown. Same for my boy Matthew Rosa. I can't wait to see what kind of questions he writes. Hopefully they don't come to bite me in the ass whenever I compete. We'll see what happens. And now we get to Friday, June 8th. We dropped 4 Fandom Fight matches for round 1 of the Fandom Fight Championship Tournament. First, we had my girl, the Vicious Trop, the Mother of Dragons, the Full Metal Trivia Season 1 champion, Jessica Morgan, taking on the Comic Book League champion and one half of the heads of Fandom Fight here at Multiplex Entertainment, Kane McMillan. Indiana Jones, he comes in with that bullwhip, and if he sees a dude with a sword, he just pulls out his gun and he just flat out shoots him. And that's basically what happened in this match for Kane McMillan. He was the guy flinging the sword. Jessica had the bullwhip in one hand, the hat on the head, and the gun in the other hand, and she just flat out shot him with Indiana Jones knowledge. And it was just not Kane's night. He had such an unlucky performance. He believes that House Nightfury has bought stock in WheelDecide.com. I can assure you that we have not. There is no actual proof that we have done that. And it was just unfortunately not Kane's night. Jessica Morgan, she moves on in the tournament, and she will either face Chance the Titan Ellison or Nazario Montenegro in round 2 of the Fandom Fight Championship Tournament. By the way, the fact that she was ranked number 9 in this tournament seeding is crazy, because have you seen the point totals she puts up in every competition she's in? It's insane. And the fact that she was number 9 is insane. She should have been ranked somewhere much higher, like at least number 5, if not higher. Okay, moving forward, we have one of the most entertaining matchups that were released on Friday. It was another Movie Warzone head, Jake the Maestro Marangoni, taking on RJ the Red Ranger. He is basically our Beyonce now. We only address him by one name, and that is RJ the Red Ranger. RJ had one of the most entertaining pre-fight promos I've ever heard, which was, I'm just going to try, and if I lose, if I win, I don't like who I'm going up against, either Robert or Malcolm. That's who the winner of that match would face. You know, RJ gave it his best. He gave it his best, and in a losing effort, he put up one of the higher score totals for Fandom Fight this season so far. But James Bond kind of bit him in the butt a little bit, and Jake Marangoni, he just knows his stuff, and it showed, and it showed. And, you know, they tried, even after Jake Marangoni won this match, he still tried to, like, plant the seeds for a rivalry with RJ down the road. And Caleb and Kane, they wanted to see that rivalry continue, and RJ was just having none of it. He was like, no, I don't do that rivalry shit. We're not doing that. And it just broke everyone in the chat, in the Hangout. Everyone could not stop laughing. And it was, if you're watching this from an outsider perspective, you also can't help but laugh your ass off as you see this playing out before your eyes. It was just beautiful. And now we move on to me versus Woodburn. Okay. So, before we started round 1, there was a poll out, and it was, who do you think is the dark horse of this competition? Who do you think has a strong chance of surprising everyone in this tournament? And I somehow ran away with this poll. And then we get to the poll before this specific match, and it's like, who do you think is going to win this match, myself or Woodburn? I have never seen a poll so one-sided in my life. It was literally me getting all the votes, and then Jim Green just gives Woodburn a sympathy vote. Like, not even Christopher Woodburn voted for himself. That was how crazy that poll was. I cannot believe it. And then we got to the actual match, and you know, Christopher Woodburn's hatred of cartoons, it just came back to bite him in the butt. Again, I got Spinner's choice just as I did in the second Movie Warzone play-in match. The wheel loves me. The wheel loves me. Either that or it feels sorry for me. I don't know. But, you know, round 2, it just seems to be something that really works out in my favor. If I have multiple choice, I can rack up points. And I've proven that. And now, the betting round, I've also shown that I'm pretty good in that. Like, if I can get a commanding lead, I know what bets to make and what not to make. And it just paid off. It paid off. And, you know, Woodburn, I'm sorry that you feel like certain categories do not belong in Fandom Fight. But that's how the cookie crumbled. I got the victory. And now I will either be going on to face my old rival, my old brother, Alex the Omega Warden. It could potentially be a rubber match of former Wrestling Trivia Showdown champions of the world. Or it could be a rematch from back in the Jack of all trivia days. Myself versus Jim Green. I have a win over Jim Green, but I have 2 losses to Alex the Omega Warden. So I think you know where I want to be. I want to get back. I want to get some revenge on the Omega, on the Wolverine, on the Evolution. And I want to show him that I have evolved and that I can be a force in this competition. And finally, we get to, speaking of rubber matches, we have the rubber match between Caleb the King Coho, one half of the Fandom Fight co-heads, versus his rival, Ryan the Hunter Permisson, the guy who just placed number 16. He got the number 16 seed in Movie Warzone. And, you know, I've heard from Ryan's own tag team partner, Kane McMillan, that if Ryan hasn't seen the movie, then it doesn't exist at all. And that's essentially what happened in round 3, is that Ryan heard a couple movies that he had never heard of, and he was just like, oh, I've never heard of this movie. This movie must suck. Those are just movies that Caleb happened to know, and he got the points he needed to win the match. And now, so this is a much needed win for Caleb in terms of his own personal confidence in himself, because Ryan Permison, he was the one guy Caleb could not get a win over. He has a win over me. I hate to say that, but Caleb has a win over me. But the fact that Ryan had 2 wins over him bothered Caleb greatly, and he finally got over that hump. He finally beat Ryan Permison, and he's moving on in the tournament to take on either the comic book lad, Grant Gregory, or the person who I'm about to talk about next in great length, Eli the Showman McKaig. My God. So he was in both #1 play-in matches for Fandom Fight and Movie Warzone. He faced off against Dave Goodger, Hunter Chambliss, Harley Borick, and Russell Howell in the Fandom Fight play-in 5-way, the first one. And then he faced off against my partner, Matthew Rosa, Dave Goodger again, and Cody Newberry in the Fatal 4-way play-in match #1 for Movie Warzone. And he, in the span of those 2 matches, he got 7 knockouts. That is fucking insane. 7 knockouts. Like, Eli has just shown that this is the showman's show. And you guys said I was the dark horse to possibly win the Fandom Fight tournament. I feel like Eli McKaig just made a gigantic argument for himself to be the guy that shocks everybody, to be the guy that wins the whole damn thing, possibly in both tournaments. Like, he knows his stuff, and I would not doubt him whatsoever. Funniest moment of the Movie Warzone match for me was when Cody Newberry answered, I believe it was his 3-pointer or 5-pointer correctly, and he flat out guessed that answer. So when people said that he was correct, he was as surprised as everyone else, and he was just like, "What?" It was amazing. It was amazing seeing the look on his face right there. But yeah, Eli McKaig, he is going on to face Grant Gregory in the Fandom Fight tournament. He's going on to face Alex the Omega Warden in the Movie Warzone Championship tournament. Excuse me, just got a frog in my throat. And so with all that out of the way, now it's finally time to bring on our special guest. I've kept him waiting long enough. Chance the Titan Ellison, ladies and gentlemen. He is the current Jack of all trivia InnerGeekdom champion. He is the newly crowned There Will Be Trivia Singles World Champion. And he already here in Multiplex Entertainment, carrying over from the past. He is the TV Throwdown Marvel and Proper champion of the world. Chance the Titan Ellison. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
So, first question, you just recently won the There Will Be Trivia Singles Championship. You beat Luca on what was probably not their best day, but still a win over Luca in anything, especially considering they beat you for the Jukebox Championship just a few weeks prior. How does it feel to get that hump? How does it feel to get over that hump and finally get a win over Luca? And for a belt nonetheless.
Oh man, it's fantastic. Just because, yeah, like I've seen Luca just go through the tournament, just absolutely just, like take people to the limit or just destroy some people. In the case of Manning Franks, yeah, dude took on Manning Franks and had to beat Jeremy like twice. He was no slouch. But yeah, when the time came, it's just the time came. Like pressure at this point, pressure doesn't get to me. I just stay in, just stay calm, stay level headed. And that's what helps me like get answers just so quickly. I just gotta stay in my game, and just beating Luca in the fashion that I did. I didn't think I was hoping to beat him. I didn't think I'd knock him out, and just being able to say I got a TKO over Luca for a belt, that's incredible.
Now, so Luca gets a second opportunity to challenge for the title. They will be challenging one of my faction mates, someone I manage, someone I'm very close with, the meme queen, Jen Kemp. That match will face you for the There Will Be Trivia Singles Championship. Now, who do you think wins in that match, and how do you think either a rematch with Luca or a new match with Jen will play out in your favor?
I think that's all going to come down to IMDb, because I know that is a huge that's like an Achilles heel for Jen. So I think if she can just get a good lead going into round 3, I think she'll take it. Otherwise, I'd give it to Luca. Not excited by not excited by the prospect of playing either of these players again. But if I had to pick one, I think I'd take Jen just purely for the fact that I've never played it before in anything. So I'd be super excited to see what I got against her. And she's a fantastic competitor. I've seen her be like winning and just kicking ass since day one. And yeah, I'd be interested to see how I do against her.
Really, you've never played against her?
I've never played against Jen Kim.
That is surprising to me. Wow. Okay, so now moving on to another belt that you have, the Jack of All Trivia InnerGeekdom Championship. What exactly is the status of that title? Like, we know there's been some stuff going on in Jack of All Trivia since certain things. Like, is the belt retired? Is the division still going on in Jack of All Trivia? What is the status of your status as the champion of that division?
Well, the division took a hiatus, but they've been announced that they are coming back. They are bringing the InnerGeekdom League back, and as far as I know, I'm still the champion until I've been told otherwise, and then I'll be rightfully pissed. But yeah, the league's getting started, and I'm just sitting on the sidelines waiting until my next challenger that I get to destroy.
Okay, and is there I was going to ask, is there anyone from there that you want to face? But again, that particular division is just starting. It's hard to say who's going to be in that division when it starts back up. So I'll move on to my next question. As I announced earlier, you are facing Nazario Montenegro in the Fandom Fight Championship Tournament, and you are facing Ryan Permerson in the Movie Warzone Championship Tournament. Give me your thoughts on both of those competitors.
Hey, both really good friends of mine, both guys who know their stuff. It's interesting. I'd be more intimidated if they switched spots. If it was both taking on Nazario in Warzone and Ryan in Fandom, then I'd be a little worried. But I'm facing him like the opposite divisions, and I'm going a little more confident because I saw the match between I saw the fatal. I actually saw both these matches. Ryan really impressed me in his Warzone match. I thought he was great, and so like I'm going. I was writing him off a little bit. Ryan, I'm sorry if you're watching this, but I was writing him off a bit, and I'm gonna stop doing that now because like, oh no, this dude is legit. But I know I can take him. And same with Nazario. Nazario is really good in his Fandom Fight, especially all the new additions of like Disney and Pixar and all that into this. That it's gonna be a challenge, but I'm ready to face him.
Now, you said you were writing off Ryan a bit. Is that mostly because you are now in a faction with Michael Campbell, one half of the There Will Be Trivia team champions?
Maybe.
Okay, so a little bit of favoritism going on.
A little bit of favoritism. A little bit.
I can forgive that to an extent. So let's say you win both of those matches that you have coming up against Nazario and against Ryan. Now, it's guaranteed now that you will be facing Jessica Morgan if you beat Nazario. How do you feel about that match?
Oh, this is Fandom, yes? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I know she's looking for revenge for her Suicide Squad, so maybe we'll get a few of those questions in there, just rub salt in the wounds. But Jess, geez, another great competitor, someone that I used to just write off as just like cannon fodder, but like she's become a badass like over the past few months to the point where like she became the Full Metal Trivia Season 1 champion. Like she's someone that I'm slightly intimidated by, but like I know that if I get a chance to take her on, she's gonna give me for my money, just like the first time I faced Full Metal Trivia. But I'm confident in myself to take it in the end.
Now, in both tournaments, besides yourself, who do you see as someone to look out for in these tournaments?
Ooh, both tournaments?
Yeah.
Let's see, besides myself. Okay, besides myself, there's two people in particular I'm looking at. One is in the Warzone tournament, and that is my faction mate, Paul Oyama, who I talk with that dude like all the time. I talk about that dude all the time. We talk about like movies and stuff like that. And the dude, like, he absolutely knows his stuff. I mean, he's one half of the team champions for a reason. And the dude's like, he's incredible. He knows his stuff. I have a feeling Final Four is going to come down to me versus him in one side of the bracket, and that's going to be, like, that's a finals match right there.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Inner Geekdom, I'm looking at two in particular. I'm looking at Grant Gregory. I'm looking at Robert Parker. Robert Parker, like, sleeps, breathes, and I said Inner Geekdom. Sorry, I meant Fandom. Robert Parker eats, breathes, sleeps Fandom. Like, he studies, like, religiously. He knows these movies, and yeah, Grant Gregory, the dude's a vault. He's a steel trap. I have a feeling like semifinal on that side of the bracket is going to be Grant versus Robert, which that's another finals match right there. So those are who I'm looking at.
No love for yours truly over here?
Nah. Big whoop, big whoop.
Screw you, man. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to you are currently in possession of 2 of the 3 belts over in TV Throwdown. The third one being vacant, so that'll be decided between of the TV Throwdown regular championship and the Marvel Championship. You won the Marvel Championship all the way back in 2017, and you have not defended it. As a matter of fact, there hasn't been a single Marvel TV match since you won the belt last year. But it looks like we're going to be having at least one Marvel TV match a month moving forward once Jim Green takes over the division. Is there anyone you're looking at who you see as a threat to that particular title?
Well, I got to know the outlook of the players in that league. I mean, you got someone like I think a Grant Gregory who's good at like comic books and like TV like that. I think he'd be a real force in that league. But I'm just not up to snuff with all the players in that league right now, so I can't properly comment.
Okay. And as for regular TV, you went through a full tournament to get that belt. You went through hell and back, and I think your 5th round went into overtime against Harley Bork to win that title. You guys went at it, and it came down to the wire. You got that TV championship. So, who would you like to face next as to defend your title? We're just having some debut matches coming up. Myself and Hunter, we're going to be competing this coming Tuesday.
Oh, jeez.
In TV. Cool your jets there. And so it seems like the TV division is finally getting back on its feet. It's growing again, and you're going to have a lot of people breathing down your neck to get that title.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it goes when you're a champion.
All right. So you're confident that you will defend every single belt that you hold and gain more gold along the way.
I mean, that's what I do, right? I mean, I got one belt. People say you're not gonna get another. I got it. I got 2 belts. People say you're not gonna get another. I got it. I got another one. People keep saying I'm not gonna keep getting more belts, and I just keep getting more belts. So you know what? Bring on anyone. I'll take them out. I'll take them out. I'll take them down, and I will take all the belts.
Are there any belts that you don't want? Because
sports belt, you can leave it.
All right, so sports battlefield, possibly wrestling, whatever we end up naming.
Wrestling, you can have that one.
The jukebox championship.
Oh yeah,
don't want that one.
No, not particularly. You can keep that one.
All right, so he's not as greedy as we think he is when it comes to these fans.
No, I'll leave some for the people.
Okay. And so before we get into some questions, let's move on to what happened this past week at the Schmoedown live event.
Which you were at, you douche.
Yes, I was there. Thank God.
So you make your Schmoedown debut for me. So good job.
Yeah, funny you mention that because there was I'll get into details about this later, but there was a Q&A after the show ended, and I asked Christian. Listen, you said if this particular event sells out, you're going to take the Schmoedown on the road. He said there's going to be one more show in California, and then we're looking to take it on the road in 2019. And he said
nice.
one of the places he was looking at was your neck of the woods, Arizona.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So there is a very strong chance, and we were joking about it on the reaction this past weekend, that you may be making your debut soon. I don't know if
let's not get into rumors and all that.
but I feel like there's truth to that, because I also asked Christian, do you watch the fan leaks? And he did say yes, and he said in particular the questions are hard. And I think the one match we don't see is your match with Luca for the title. So he's seen what you are capable of, and he knows that you are a force to watch out for. So do you think it's only a matter of time before you are Schmoedown bound?
I'm not gonna, do a little rumor. I'm just gonna, play my game. If Christian reaches out to me, if Christian reaches out to me, I'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay. So now let's get into the actual matches that happened this week for the Schmoedown. We have the Star Wars match between, excuse me, I'm sorry, live TV, folks. That's what happens. Sometimes you need to burp. We had the former champion, Ken Knapsack, taking on Joseph Scrimshaw, for his fellow Force Center podcast mate, and Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained. First off, I just want to state that there was a lot of funny shit in the promos that happened live that got cut out for the official episode release.
They cut stuff out?
Yes, because it didn't really have much to do with the match, at least in terms of Joseph Scrimshaw's promo. Like, he mentioned that he was from Minnesota, and he made a joke about the Oregon Trail video game and how the main purpose of that game was to get out of Minnesota and not get dysentery, which I thought was hilarious. But it was just like self-deprecating humor galore from him. And I'm so upset that it got cut out of the episode. I think I did videotape his entire promo, though, so I can post that later, and you guys can see the entire promo for yourself and laugh your asses off for that. But so we had Joseph Scrimshaw saying it was a matter of whose brain farts first. We have Alex Damon saying, hey, I'm just going to try my best and do what I do. And Ken Knapsack,
the system.
Yes, he gives that, it's the system that's screwing me over. And if a loser like me can't succeed, then how can a bunch of losers like you succeed? It was the perfect heel gimmick right there. It was beautiful. And then we get to the actual match. And, just as Joseph Scrimshaw said, his brain farted first in the first round. But it was still very, very close. Like the first round. Stan. The first round ended 11-11 to 9 because Ken and Alex went perfect in round one, and they answered their bonus question correctly. And then the wheel round. Another thing that got cut out of that video was there were a couple Meryl Streep chants started by yours truly when they were spinning the wheel. And also, the wheel landed on A New Hope many, many times. Hence why Mark Ellis said, if it lands on A New Hope, I'm leaving.
Really?
Yes, that's why he said that, because it landed on A New Hope multiple times before that, and they cut it out for time. So there's a lot of funny stuff that happened that got cut out of the final version of the episode. But, Alex went with A New Hope. Scrimshaw went with, what did he go with? The Force Awakens, was it?
Yes. And
Ken Knapsack he gets heroes, and then spins again, goes to villains.
That was amazing.
And Alex Damon, I think he went perfect in that round. He only needed multiple choice once. I think Joseph Scrimshaw, the letter C is going to haunt him for a while now because actors, yeah. And Ken. They bursted Mark Ellis's bubble with that Concha Club question.
I love that reaction. He's like, just come here, buddy. Who leads Concha Club?
Although
wasn't that question wrong? Did he? What was the word in that question?
I don't remember, but I do remember it was in the free-for-all. So like there was no time to really challenge that question or ask.
I do remember. I think the question said like, who was the leader of Conja Club, which he was not actually.
Okay. So we had round 2 there. Alex went pretty much perfect. Scrimshaw had a bit of a stumble, and Knapsack, he did okay, but he needed multiple choice a lot. And then we get on to round 3, and the system tried to help Ken. And
Tried to help him. Tried to help him.
In his favor, like the biggest upset of the night, he gets eliminated first, and it looks like Scrimshaw can make a big comeback and suddenly pull this out of nowhere, like from the brink of defeat, just get that victory. But no, Alex Damon, he just keeps putting up the numbers, putting up the points, and he wins. He wins, and like now he is challenging Sam Witwer for the Star Wars Championship. Before I get to your thoughts on like the match as a whole and specific stuff you want to talk about, I want to ask, how do you feel about movie locations being asked in various questions? Because I know Christian Harloff, he was just on the Schmoedown rundown yesterday, and he was talking to Frank and Brad, and he said he's not the biggest fan of questions about where movies were shot. Like he feels like you need to be the biggest fucking nerd on the planet to even want to study stuff like that. Like those are film student questions right there. And for like competitors who are just trying to get plots and directors and actors and composers, it's enough as it is. Why throw locations on top of that? So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think a big reason that they don't want to put locations in there because like the answer 9 times out of 10 is going to be Toronto, because Toronto is everywhere in movies. But as far as like movie locations, if it's like central to the plot or just the movie in general, I'm fine with it. Or if it's like brought up like several times in the film, where movies are shot, that's a little taboo. But when you're going with like Star Wars and you only have like 11 movies to pull from now, you gotta think outside the box. You gotta try some new things. So in this case, I think it's okay.
And what about the match overall? Like specific rounds, specific questions. How do you feel about how everyone did? And where do you feel all the competitors go from here? We know that Alex Damon, he is now facing Sam Witwer at the Collision for the championship. Give us your thoughts on everything that happened in this match with the competitors, where they go from here, and how you feel Alex Damon stacks up against Sam Witwer.
I mean, this match went about not exactly the way I thought it was gonna. I was betting on Scrimshaw to win the whole thing, but I was betting on Scrimshaw because I just knew, I had a feeling like in like my gut, like Knapsack's not gonna walk away with the winner from this, and if he does, it's gonna suck seeing him already. But like Joseph Scrimshaw is one of like the brightest Star Wars minds like working within the Schmoedown right now. So I hope he gets into that. Like I want to see get like a 1-on-1 just so you can get a win on the books for once. Knapsack's gonna keep ranting about the system. I'm sure he'll be back. And Damon, the dude knows his stuff. I think he missed like one question at the duration of the match. But he's no Sam Witwer. I'm still taking Witwer for the title at Collision.
So you still think that the guy who's in Star Wars is going to beat the guy who has an entire channel dedicated to Star Wars and the itty-bitty things about Star Wars, such as Biggs Darklighter's mustache?
I'm about to say, how many hairs a Big Darklighter's mustache?
All right. And who else would you like to see compete in the Schmoedown Star Wars division moving forward? Like I've been campaigning for a lot more female competitors in that division, such as Janina Avankar from Star Wars Battlefront 2, such as Jennifer Landa, another member of the Force Center podcast feed, Ash Crossan, who's been on Jedi Council multiple times, even Ashley Eckstein, who we all know as Ahsoka Tano, one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. I feel like there's room for there's room for a lot of competitors from all sexes to be in this particular division. And, you know, we just have to hope that there are still enough questions from these 11 movies that that they can keep having
find something
in this division.
As far as who I want to see, if you're looking talking female competitors, why don't we get Jane Nicholson back? I mean, I feel like, you know, debuting during Star Wars Celebration in a room full of people is hard.
Especially if you just took the match last minute with literally no studying time whatsoever.
Exactly. I'd love to see Jenny come back. Someone I'd love to see, which the only reason he couldn't probably do it is because of location. I'd love to see Mr. Sunday Movies come in and he try his hand at Star Wars trivia, because that, like, you watch his channel, that dude absolutely knows his Star Wars, and like he's done videos with Harloff before where they just talk Star Wars the whole time. He absolutely like knows what he's talking about in regards to Star Wars. So yeah, I would love to see Mr. Sunday Movies try his hand.
I feel like a battle between Mr. Sunday Movies and Steele Saunders would be very
battle down under.
Yes, especially considering if we have another situation, another torch situation.
Space torch.
Torch versus Flashlight or shit like that. Okay, before we get to the Shire Wolves versus Team Action, I just want to give a quick shout out to the guys in the chat. We got Tim Smith, my boss. How you doing, boss? Don't fire me. We got Brooklyn Vale from over in Jukebox Trivia. Support what Take 3 and Worldwide Movie Games have going on tonight with the charity for dogs. Red Rover, I believe, is the name of the charity. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. We have one of your opponents, Nazario Montenegro, just saying hi. And we have the entirety of Take 3 Productions. Chris Clark is saying hi as well. How you guys doing? Feel free to write some questions down below in the comments. I have a few saved over from yesterday's Facebook thread, but you know, if you guys want to ask a few more, let's keep this shit going. So now let's move on to the. Actually, do you want to? Have you seen Nat Wolff versus John Roca by any chance?
It was Alex, and yes, I have.
Oh yes, Alex. I'm sorry. I used to watch the Naked Brothers Band. I should know this shit by now, but for some reason, I got them mixed up for just that 1 second. So the story of this match is basically like Alex Wolff. He's a great promo guy. I feel like he.
Oh my god! Yeah, he is.
He has serious potential as, at the very least, a manager if he wants to continue coming on the Schmoedown. And the beauty of this is that this match did not count on anyone's record. It was strictly exhibition, so he can still re-enter the Schmoedown the right way and have an 0-0 record. And he can also, but he can also say that, hey, I went toe-to-toe with a former champion the last time I was here. So I can probably beat this scrub from off the street that you found at the Denny's and handle my own. So as for Roca, you know, he struggled against a newbie. But then again, you and we had a wrestling match once, and you did fairly well, and I did very poorly. So anything can happen in these types of matches. A rookie in a particular division can look really good against the former champion on any given night. It's just one of those things. So how do you feel about this match?
Yeah, this match is really entertaining. Alex Wolff, I think, he's an up-and-coming star. I mean, the dude had he was in a Patriots Day, then Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and Hereditary, which is awesome, and everyone should go see it. But no, yeah, I mean, as far as celebrity match, I was like, what? Why is he playing Roca? I really do want to believe that he wants someone good, and not that they couldn't get another star from Hereditary or like another star from like anywhere. What I do hope this leads to, I hope he comes back, and I want this to lead to Wolf Civil War, Nat versus Alex, see who the superior Wolf is.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. I feel like it would just need to come to them being in another movie together, so the publicity would be right for it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, that
Naked Brothers Band reunion.
That does sound really interesting. Like you could have Rosalina be one of the judges, be one of the commentators.
Oh my god! Or get Kasim. He was on Idol. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, just like get somebody who's not doing anything from the Naked Brothers to be on commentary for that match between Nat and Alex. That would be great.
That'd be great. But yeah, the match itself was pretty great. I was convinced Roku was gonna lose at one point, at the end of the match.
How did you react when Alex pulled out Jane Fonda without any context as to the history of the Schmoedown and John Roca's history with Jane Fonda?
I pretty much just died in my chair. I was like, no, he's gotta know. There's no way. That was incredible.
It was just the perfect coincidence. All right. So, any other thoughts on this match? My thought is it was nice seeing Perry back in the show.
Yeah, we haven't seen Perry in a while.
Like I even once told Janine, "Hey, listen, make a Where's Perry shirt, sort of inspired by Phineas."
I get down with that.
But only instead of the platypus, it's Perry Nimroff, and we're like, "Where is she?"
But you need to put her face on the Perry body.
We love you, Perry. We love you, Perry. That's why
we love you, Perry. We just want you to come back. That's why we're saying, "Where are you?"
Yeah, we want you to come back. But according to Brooklyn, she hates the Schmoedown because she probably doesn't have. She didn't have the best record when she was in it, so that's probably why she hates it. It happens. It happens. It's not for everybody. All right. Now we get to the Shire Wolves versus Team Action. First up, I just want to say I did not realize until they got really close to me that the Five Club was throwing bars of soap. So when I saw that they were throwing bars of soap, I was like, oh, shit, I should probably duck.
Oh, come on. The Five Club throws soap at you. You don't duck. You catch.
I tried. Like, I couldn't even catch a damn T-shirt that Finstock threw in my direction. I had to, pick it up off the ground after no one got it.
Nice.
By the way, that T-shirt that he did throw into the crowd, very, very tight. Very tight.
Really?
Yes. I didn't bother to check the size. I probably should have asked, hey, you want to trade with someone else who cut a T-shirt? But it was a tight shirt. It was a tight shirt. I like it.
Oh, well. That's how Babaguchi rolls.
Okay, so the actual match itself. Emma Fife comes out. She cuts a promo. No Shire Wolves just yet. Obviously, it was for a logical reason. They're trying to hide what their entrance is going to be. That's the difference between doing a recording versus doing it live. Is you can do the promo in regular clothes and then come out to an entrance in different clothes. Here they didn't really have that option because they had to get their makeup ready and everything. All Team Action did was really change suits. So it was easier for them to do their thing, whereas Shire Wolves, they had to be more precise with their entrance. So hence why Emma Fife is out there doing the intro, and all she had to do was really change into a penguin costume real quickly. So that's why the Shire Wolves weren't out there. Then we get Team Action, and they're supposed to be the heels, but they're actually using a very face promo here. They're saying, why are the team that you came to see not talking directly to you on stage?
Yeah, he's watching he's got a point.
and those are the best heels in all of wrestling. The ones that give you a point that you can agree with. I remember when well, actually, I don't remember because I didn't watch at the time, but I do slightly recall from the brief clips I've seen that when the Nation of Domination was a thing, Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation would make a comment about how America has a history of being racist, and yet we kind of ignore it. And they're if you're a fan who knows their history, you're like, yeah, he's kind of got a point, but I'm going to be mad at him anyway because USA. So that's essentially what Team Action did there was they brought a logical point onto the stage, and you're like, they're not wrong, but you guys talk a lot, so I'm going to boo you anyway.
Right.
So, just great promos all around. And then we get to the entrance. We have the flashcards that they were throwing out there. Robert Parker was probably popping for that just because he likes flashcards. They had all the rules of the Five Club written down on them. I caught one of them. I think it was either number 5 or number 7. Mark Andrego, he accidentally said T Republic instead of T Public. You got to get your advertising right. Then Team Action. Then Team Action comes out. They're dressed even more to the nines than they were before. Andrew Guy has a cane. Ben Bateman has a signature suitcase and yet another nameplate for the desk. Surprisingly, no felonies were committed at this time by Andrew Guy, so we're all good to go.
I was shocked. I was shocked.
And then we get to the actual match where it was basically the Clark Wolf show. Like, with the exception of one question, she was pretty much dominant that entire round. And you know, Christian Harloff made a point on the Schmoedown rundown yesterday that the only other person who has had the best first round record compared to her is Drew McWeeny. And Drew McWeeny has put up perfect rounds before and then gotten bonuses. Clark Wolf, she's put up 7-point round ones in like her past couple matches consecutively. So like when people say that she's not that great of a competitor, just look at how well she does in round one. There's your argument. There's your counter argument right there. She is a great player, and it shows again in round two when she gets the categories that she knows how to answer right. She gets horror again on the wheel. As someone who's very lucky when it comes to the wheel round, I can praise her as someone else who's very lucky with the wheel round. She gets horror. Now when you have such a vast knowledge of horror, it's just a matter of like sometimes you're gonna forget little stuff, and that's the beauty of multiple choice. You hear it said, and then it comes back to you. For example, the boomstick question. Like it took her a while to pull it. She hears it in multiple choice, and she gets it.
I was surprised she did multiple choice for that one. That's like such an iconic line from that movie. I mean, come on, this is my boomstick.
Again, as Joseph Scrimshaw said before, it's a matter of whose brain farts first. And, you know,
yeah, I guess.
And, you know, like, I feel like we're a little more, I feel like sometimes we can be a little more critical of the female competitors when they have brain farts than the males.
Oh, no, action completely. We'll get to action later.
That's just me. That's just
action blanks all the time. Like, especially ironically in action. Maybe that's why they call it Team No Action, because they can't get the action adventure questions right.
True. So the Shire Wolves had a very strong round two. Team Action, they had an even stronger round two. Like Ben Bateman showing that movie release dates. Like it's not just Scott Mance's category anymore. There are competitors who know their release dates. And,
oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's something we shouldn't act we shouldn't treat it like a joke category anymore, because this is a category that people know. It's not just that. We should probably put more than just Scott Mance's face on that wheel slice, and then
it's still gonna be Scott Mance. It's got to be him, just because he was like the grandfather of that category. It's got to be him.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, like, maybe if there were more faces on that wheel slice, people would take it a little bit more seriously. Or if it's
no, it's not that we don't take it seriously, it's just that like people are scared of that category.
Fair enough. So we get down to round three, and how did you feel about the questions in this one?
The questions I remember being, I don't think anything was like super unfair. Yes, I say, I do think what was Guy's 2-pointer? Again.
I think it had to do with like, what was it, Uncle Buck?
No, that was in round one.
Oh.
I can't remember the 2-pointer.
Was it a War? No, War of the Worlds was also round one.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember Rachel's 2-pointer being easier than Guy's, but I still thought they were both fair questions for as far as like a 2-pointer goes.
I think it comes down to a matter of, and Christian also said this on the Schmoedown rundown yesterday, it's a matter of subjectivity, because, like, you know, exactly. I feel like Andrew Guy is one of those people who's seen just a little bit more movies than myself and Hunter Chambliss combined. Whereas, you know, Rachel and Clark, they've seen tons and tons and tons of movies. Uh,
Yeah, just hold on. This is gonna bug me, but yeah, I remember watching it, and I remember the questions are like, okay, you know what, like that one's like they're both in the same zone, maybe like one like notch separation between the two of them, but not super, nothing like insane.
okay,
That's right. Who plays the prosecutor in The Accused? That was his 2-pointer.
so knowing that information now, do you feel that both 2-point questions were fair?
Yeah, but just find her 2-point question. Yeah, no, I'd say they're fair because like she got who played Johnny Cash's wife in Walk the Line. Which, yeah, I say it's fair.
Okay. And well, do you remember what the round 3 question? Do you remember what the 3-point questions were?
3-pointer. For action, it was. Oh, for action, it was what 1972. It was sci-fi fantasy. What 1972 Russian film was remade with George Clooney, and the answer was Solaris, which that was. I mean that was arguably pretty easy for a 3-pointer. Which I guess that makes up for it. But and yeah, so that one was fair 3-pointer, and then Shire Wolves they didn't have to go 3-pointer.
Oh, that's right. And here's where we get to a matter of controversy, and it's good. This particular moment is going to result in some tweaking of the rules as to what constitutes a final answer, because basically here's what happened. Ben Bateman says the wrong answer. Christian doesn't hear the wrong answer. Ben Bateman tries to correct himself. It was originally deemed that Team Action had gotten the question wrong, and then they challenged, and the question was thrown out entirely because Christian couldn't hear the answer, and therefore they it's like, what can you do? We're in the live zone. We're struggling to hear certain things because we got a loud crowd going on. So the best thing we can do is we can throw this question out, give you another one, and they missed the other one they got, so it's declared a win for the Shire Wolves. And I feel like a lot of people took offense to Emma Fife's argument as to why that was a different scenario from when Sam Levine corrected himself. But I agree with Emma Fife's argument. I believe that Sam Levine caught himself before Christian Harloff could say what or that's the wrong answer. Whereas Ben Bateman,
and that question was worded like confusingly, anyways. So that was a hard one, anyways.
Yes, and in contrast, Ben Bateman, he was like, wrong answer. Christian says what, and then he's like, oh no, wait, and so like he tried to catch himself, but it just didn't work out. Like it's a matter of, did you catch yourself before or after the judge clocked the answer in? And so what's your thoughts on this particular moment here?
Yeah, this is a tough one just because like I'm sure there are situations where players accidentally say something with like they accidentally say something without the intent of like it being taken like essentially thinking out loud, but because they said it, that's taken as an answer. So I think it should be thing like players like watch what you say and make sure what you say exactly exactly what you say is exactly the answer you want to give. And as far as the ruling goes, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I do think another question was the fair. I do think that another question was the fair thing to do because like we could not discern whether or not he had the right. I mean, we all know he didn't have the right answer to begin with, but like given past matches, I think that was a fair compromise.
So with this new controversy, do you think, in terms of answering questions, we're going to see the Schmoedown take a page out of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire's playbook?
Final answer for everything.
Yeah, or at least for certain rounds, like because round 1 it's still whiteboard. Round 3 in terms of championship matches, it's still whiteboard. So in terms of like regular matches, rounds 2 and 3, I feel like could maybe benefit from final answer being said after every official answer. Just to because as you said, thinking out loud, sometimes we forget we're in the moment and we don't catch ourselves, and it happens. It happens. So, would you be okay if that was made into if that was made a rule change that?
I guess, as far as just like period, or just just with teams.
Interpret the question I just asked in your own way.
Well, like if they were doing it, it's like any question that doesn't involve whiteboard, you have to say final answer before giving your final answer. I'd be fine with it. I'd be indifferent. I'd be fine with it. I don't think it'd detract from the game or anything. It'd be another rule that gets put in place to make sure that players don't screw up and screw themselves out of a win.
And also give the people who make the game.
And also take it easy on the judges who have to make like super tough calls like all the time.
Exactly. So we get to the post-match interviews. Emma Fife presents the argument I just presented, which was that, hey, Sam Levine was not prompted to correct himself. Team action was. And then Clark Wolf, she goes into full-on promo mode. It says, I want the belt. We're going for World's Finest next. And if they win, then they get a title shot. And I kept confusing World's Finest with, I believe it was Superhero News. So I apologize for that to both teams. For some reason, I just kept thinking, okay, the guys who just lost to Bibiani and Seibel, that I just kept thinking that was World's Finest, and I apologize for that. But now that I realize, it's an entirely different team I'm thinking of here. How do you see that matchup playing out between Shire Wolves and World's Finest?
I'm taking Shire Wolves. I mean, they are one of the most dangerous rookie teams in the league we have right now. And yeah, World's Finest is good. They caught Kingsman and Team Trek on an off day. So yeah, I think the Shire Wolves are a safe bet in this case.
I agree, but I would not doubt World's Finest. I feel like
I wouldn't just throw them out or anything, but especially if they get something like geek related, like comic book movies or something, like that could be a fight.
And when you beat Trek, especially when they have the InnerGeekdom championship already on their shoulder, it's a big win for them to beat a current Schmoedown champion in any match. So don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them because they are a force. And speaking of the InnerGeekdom champion, let's get to that big post-credit scene. Now, I've already said this on the reaction of how that entire series of events played out for me. I want to hear how it played out for you. Just give me what was going on in your brain as you saw the events folding in front of your eyes.
Oh my God! Okay, so yeah, when Damerl, wearing the classic Damerl, wearing the flannel, black shirt, the hat, the glasses. I'm like, he's there. Wait a minute. I took a closer look. No, that head's too big. That's Ben.
I kind of knew they were going to do something like that. Yeah, because I've been watching wrestling long enough that I know that when someone is purposely calling someone out like that on stage, they're usually going to get a terrible stunt double to come out, and then eventually the real guy will come out unexpectedly and just lay it on them. So I was not surprised at all when
especially when he's lying into Damerl so much. I was just like, okay, he's gonna come out. The horseman thing. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe this is the big reveal after all. And then you Nost, Roka, Inman, which we all saw coming, and then someone we didn't see coming, Mark Riley, which means he's coming out of retirement, which I think is going to be super, super awesome. And then you see that for 5. I was like, no. and then the lights go dim, comes up, boom, Dan Murray's back. I was like, yes! I like Thor and Ragnarok. Yes! Yeah, like that was just so. That was probably my favorite reveal in the entirety of the Schmoedown.
Oh, dude. So as I already said this on the reaction, but I'll go through the events as they play out again. I kind of knew that Ben Bateman was going to come out dressed as fake Dan Murrell, and then all of a sudden we hear that music, so we know something's about to happen. Now, in the theater, you could actually see a little bit better people coming out on stage as opposed to like when the official video pops up, it's just a black screen. You can barely see anything. So
although I kind of like that. From a visually aesthetic point of view, I like that.
So like I saw these 4 people in robes come out on stage, and I was like, what's about to happen here? And it didn't occur to me like, oh, there's 4 people. So like, and they're dressed in robes, and there's this ominous music. So it didn't really click into my head until Matt Nost pulled the first hood over, and I was like, oh shit, we're getting the reveal. We're getting the reveal. And then John Roca pulls the hood off his face next. And I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. It's happening. Like the moment is just because the realization is just coming more and more into my brain. And then all of a sudden, Inman pulls the hood off. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I see Riley and my jaw's on the floor. And I'm like, ah, ah. And then I see that 4. As you just said, turn to 5. And that's when the wheels turned in my brain. And I'm like, it's Merle. It's Merle. It's Merle. And then he comes out, hood comes off, and there it is. It's Merle. And he just puts team action in their place, gives them the ultimate verbal spanking. And just,
that was incredible.
And just says, here's the deal. You and me are going to fight, and you can't say no to this fight. It's happening. You've dug your own grave. Prepare to lie in it. And it was just perfect. And then the big reveal at the end that not only is Dan Murrell versus Andrew Guy happening at the Collision, but also that Dan Murrell is competing at the next live event. And as I stated on the reaction yesterday, there was a Q&A after this event happened, and Christian teased that Team Champs might be reforming for that September 8th show.
That would be epic. I would love to see Team Champs coming back.
So I'm going to work
especially with these new rules, they could put that name into effect.
So I take it the both of us are going to work on getting our plane tickets or gas money ready so we can head down.
Yeah, hope I like I've already said, like if I'm able to go, I'm going to this next live event. I'll be there.
Same here. So now we have 3 matches confirmed for the Collision. We have Above the Line versus the Patriots 3 Iron Man Rules for the Tag Team Championships. We have the Star Wars Championship match between reigning champs
Whitwer and Damon.
Who, by the way, I was after the event, I had the pleasure of having dinner at the Federal Bar across the street with Alex Damon, his wife Molly, Joseph Scrimshaw, and Brian Ward. And
how nice!
It was one of the like that night will go down in history as one of the best nights of the year for me, possibly of my life. I loved every minute of it. So we have that match, and then we have Dan Murrell taking on Andrew Guy at the Collision. So it's shaping up to be a big card, and it makes me wonder, what else can you possibly add to it?
What else is there? What else can you do?
Like, because I feel like there's got to be at least 3 more matches for the Collision.
Got to be, right?
Yeah, because like pay-per-views, there got to be 6 matches. That's what it always feels like to me. Or you have the free-for-all, and it's just like one gigantic match that feels as long as 6 matches.
We're either gonna get 1 or 3 more matches. There's no in between.
What do you think could be the 4th? Well, the Inman probably will be defending his title.
Against who, though?
Like they have this tournament that doesn't have an official bracket. Like Kalinowski kind of forced Dad's hand, so we have this tournament going on. Emma Fife versus Jay Washington was grandfathered into that tournament. So was Hector Navarro versus Adam Hlavik. So we have that match. And from the looks of it, we're having 6 more matches. The next one is going to be Cushing versus McCarty. So that match will also be in the tournament. And, if Kalinowski continues getting his way, he'll likely be facing Jared from The Bachelor. So, a lot of things are shaping up in that InnerGeekdom division, and I can't wait to see how things continue to play out there. And if everything keeps falling on schedule, we should probably get an InnerGeekdom championship match at the Collision.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Like, we're gonna get InnerGeekdom something, whether it's gonna be title match or just a number 1 contenders match. We're gonna get something.
Very likely, very likely. All right, so let's get to some questions.
Oh boy.
All right, so from Kane McMillan, head of Fandom Fight.
Of course.
For you, when you get to the Schmoedown, what belt are you going to go for first?
If no, it's not. Just rumors, man. If I get to the Schmoedown, probably singles. The singles movie trivia title. Okay, nothing's official yet, but I have looked at potential partners for potential partners if the day comes where I do get asked. Some familiar faces, but if that happens, I go for the team. But as of right now, if I were to go into Schmoedown, I'd be on my own. So I definitely go for the singles.
Just to go off topic here for a second, you mentioned teams. You and Russell Howell, you're going to be teaming in Movie Warzone, from what I understand. But you're partners. You're seeking a different partner for Fandom Fight. Do you have any reveals for me at this time?
Well, I want to keep it under wraps, but whatever. You get an exclusive for your first episode.
Yay!
So Caleb teased at the end of his Ride Permission match that his teammate was a member of the Alpha Alliance. It's not me, though. It is not me.
I've seen the episodes that we've shot, and I know for a fact that it's not you.
Well, tell people. No, my partner is someone who people should be afraid of, at least in Fandom Fights, nonetheless, because the dude's an awesome competitor. My partner is going to be my faction mate's primetime himself, Paul Oyama, and together we are Team Star Command, and we are going to take that belt.
Oh, Christ. Oh, dear Lord. Everyone, I'm shaking in my boots right now. Maybe not as I'm leading on, but come on, man. You're forming a super team here. Give us some leeway so we can win some belts. All right. We'll take that There Will Be Trivia title off of you. It'll look nice around Jen.
You wish.
Okay, also from Kane McMillan. What is your favorite movie? Your favorite movie that really got you into film, and your biggest guilty pleasure?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite movie, anybody who knows me knows, is the original Star Wars trilogy. Those are movies that I grew up watching just like all the time. And when I was younger, I used to put them on the same level with the prequels. Then I got older, I'm like, oh no, these are far superior films. And there's really so much going on than just like Spaceships and Laser Swords. Those movies have meant so much to me and so much to my entire family that those are absolutely my favorites of all time. What were the other questions again?
Movie that really got you into film, and biggest guilty pleasure.
Okay. So movie that really got me into film. It's probably my first movie I remember seeing, which was a long time ago. It's funny. I remember the opening title sequence of American Pie 2, but I don't remember the rest of the movie. The movie I actually vividly remember seeing in the theater for the very first time was actually another Star Wars movie, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And this is my first experience with Star Wars at all. And I saw that movie, I was like, yo, what is this? This is awesome. I got to have more of this. And then my uncle showed me, all the other movies. And yeah, that like my film passion really got me. That's where it really started with Attack of the Clones. And but also I got to throw some. No, I'll get to that question later. But my biggest guilty pleasure, probably anything directed by Rob Zombie. I I think Rob Zombie is a really talented director. I actually really do enjoy his Halloween movie. Rob Zombie's Halloween is not nearly as bad as people say it. I actually put that as the second best Michael Myers Halloween behind the first one. So yeah, definitely Rob Zombie's Halloween.
So the moral of this answer is, if not for Attack of the Clones, Chance Ellison would not be as gold as he does.
Yeah, exactly.
There are good things or bad things, depending on your certain point of view, that have come from Attack of the Clones, and Chance Ellison is one of them.
That is true. That is true.
And in fairness, you know, I love Episode 1. I love the Phantom Menace. So one prequel to another, right on, man. Right on. Okay, so next question from Jake the Maestro Marangoni. How do you have so much knowledge for so many different leagues, such as fandom, movies, TV, jukebox, whatever?
I had feelings come up. So people don't understand. Like I grew up in a family that we are all just like huge like entertainment junkies. Like my uncle's a big movie buff. My aunt actually is a manager at a theater, to which like I spent a lot of time there just watching a lot of like random stuff. Like I saw a movie called Ninja Terminator the other day at that theater just because I could. But yeah, like in the family, like we just love everything arts. We love like theater and movies and music and television, and you know it just like that's just a common thing with all of us. And it was a common thing with me because like when I was like really like super young, my dad was in school, my mom was in school, and she worked, so I had a lot of time, you know, just at my grandma's house, just hanging out, and a lot of time with that was spent watching movies, watching old VHS tapes. I was actually able to work a VHS before I was 2. And it's actually funny. So my mom could tell. She tells a story about how when I was, I think, it was before I was 2. She got up, she saw my TV was on, and she knew she turned it off, but she went and checked it anyways. And it was me. I was in my crib. I was watching a movie, and when it was over, she literally watched me like get up, take the VHS out of the VCR, rewind it, and then put it back and start it again and get myself back in my crib. She was just like, "Did I just see that shit?" So, in a way, you can kind of think you kind of see myself like I've been training for this since before I could talk.
Oh my god, I'm now picturing every spoof horror film where a baby does something you wouldn't expect them to do.
Change VHS.
Yes, change the VHS, fully rewind it, put it back in the box, take another one out, put it. Oh wow! Like some kids teach themselves how to read. You taught yourself how to use a VCR.
That's correct.
All right. Next question from Ryan the Hunter Permisson, one of your upcoming opponents, and this is for both of us. Who is and we kind of already addressed this, but we can address it again. Maybe the wording is a little different, that we can get a different answer out of it. Who is a competitor you can see making an impact in the league as a new star? Who is a competitor you have your eye on?
Well, we already entered the eye on, but the new stars that I'm looking at, someone who actually won both of his play-ins, Eli McKeag. Eli McKeag could make a run for it. I'm not saying he's going to beat me, but he can make a run.
I would have to agree with you there. I mean, he's already one half of the upcoming Arrowverse Championship match. So he's on his way to becoming the next you and possibly getting 3 belts of his own.
Possible.
If Zaddy Smith has anything to say about it, that won't happen. But I can tell you for a fact, he impressed me so much. Like already 7 knockouts in the course of 2 matches with 2 different rule sets. That's incredible. That's incredible, and nobody should sleep on him. Like when he was with Dan as the Book of Eli team, they were already a force to be reckoned with. Like you can attest that they gave you a fight, did they not?
They did give us a fight, and they had us dead to rights, but they you like favored us in the end.
So without a doubt, listen to us both. Eli McCaig is someone you guys need to watch out for.
Although if I had questions like what were the villains in Angry Birds, I would have done. We would have done all right too. Just saying.
Is that a shot against me for getting Angry Birds and Inside Out confused?
A little bit. It's also a shout. It's also a shout at those video game questions.
I was hyper. Okay, I was hyper. There was so much blood flowing through me. I couldn't
That
tell.
was funny. That shit was funny.
All right. So now from Brooklyn Vale. For you,
Okay.
why are the Bare Naked Ladies one of the best Canadian bands?
Fuck you, Brooklyn. No, they're not. Next question.
And he also asks to me, and I suppose I can relay this question to you. What music do you listen to before matches?
Before matches, I actually have. Hold on, give me a second. I have a playlist that I used to use before when I played high school football. That I listen to get pumped up, and I still listen to that sometimes before matches. So when I was just starting out, like I used to listen to Cinderella Man by Eminem a lot, which I mean I don't now because I'm not the Cinderella story. I'm the champ now for a good reason. What else do I got? I got We Ready, That Ain't Classy, Hard Knock Life. Mama Said Knock You Out, which I listen to a lot. Move Bitch by Ludacris, the song Glitter and Gold by Barnes Courtney. I literally have like a whole playlist of just songs I listen to before matches.
And as for me, you guys know I'm a big Evanescence and Daughtry fan, so sometimes I will listen to those. Don't be dissing me. Don't be dissing me.
Wake me up inside.
Yeah, that song is beautiful when Amy Lee has a beautiful voice.
Especially when you pair that with the leather fetish that is Daredevil.
Okay, yeah, that was funny. That was funny, and I'm kind of waiting for someone. Chris Daughtry has performed that song too as a cover for when he was doing that Passion of the Christ Fox special, and he is also.
Oh, you mean Jesus Christ Superstar?
No, like Fox did a Passion of the Christ musical special, like live musical special, and Chris Daughtry sang "Bring Me to Life" in that special, and he's just like walking through this abandoned building for like no explained reason.
I gotta find this shit.
Like, there's a music video for it. Just look up Daughtry "Bring Me to Life" and you will find it. But he has also been in a Nerdist sketch in which he played Chris Darthtree, which was basically him and Darth Maul makeup, and they were looking for new musical acts for the Mos Eisley Cantina. So with that combination, I feel like it would be perfect if Sam Witwer came out dressed as Darth Maul to Chris Daughtry's version of "Bring Me to Life," and like it would just be like the perfect visual.
Nice.
But aside from that, I remember when I was training for my match with Jen in the Disney Full Metal Callout, I was listening to Mulan's "Be a Man" nonstop.
Leave a man, you must be stripped as a cousin. Leave a man with all the strength of the great typhoon.
And I love that song so much that I actually used it for a video package for a previous against Jake Marangoni, and he actually said that me using that video package inspired him to create one of his own from one of his own matches later on. So
nice.
Set a trend. Okay, so those are all the Facebook questions I've seen, unless someone wrote something new in the last couple seconds. No, they have not. So let's see here. Let's see if anyone said anything in the YouTube chat. Let's see here. So we have some more comments from Nazario. He says stuff like Clark has always been a great competitor, referring to Clark Wolf. Brooklyn's, he's still waiting on a Family Guy match at some point. I need to condense the screen a little bit because can't see the questions. Clark has always been great. She was this close to being Levine. He agrees that Team Action should have gotten the loss on that first 5-pointer. He thinks the first 5-pointer was actually harder than the replacement.
Really?
Yes, that's
which funny enough you bring it up. Like you can see, like if you watch it close, you can see guys going like, Walter Matthau, Walter Matthau. I don't know why Ben decided not to listen to him.
Hey, I don't know. Like maybe he was trying to send like mental vibes to Ben, and yeah, Ben just wasn't listening to them. Okay, so here's an actual question. What is your favorite movie from a genre you don't like?
From a genre I don't like. That's the hard part. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of rom-coms. I'll say that. But I do love The Princess Bride. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I will agree. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. And, I had been holding off on seeing it forever. Like I remember 2 years ago, someone asked me, "Have you seen The Princess Bride?" And I was like, "No." And so they like yelled at me like, "How have you not seen The Princess Bride?" So they kept hyping it up and hyping it up and hyping it up for like 2 years straight. And I finally decided to pop it in my DVD player. And it lived up to every ounce of hype that they had given
Absolutely.
it. So
yeah, I remember like when I saw. I don't remember like seeing it. I remember seeing like the DVD cover, and I was like you should watch this. What this girly nonsense? Pass. And then I actually sat down and watched it, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie's awesome.
Exactly. Like that is the sign of a great movie when someone hypes it up as much as they do The Princess Bride, and it actually lives up to the amount of hype that they've given it.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, okay, let's. I'm trying to think. Yes, movies from genres I don't like. I can't really think of any at the moment, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
My dog just had an opinion. She just barked from outside. Okay, so one last question from Nazario, and I think it's for me. Nico, what would it take for you to watch a horror film?
Ooh.
For me to not be a human being with the emotion of fear. Like I like sleeping normally. I already have weird enough dreams as it is without having seen horror films. Like literally, I woke up from a dream this morning where I was like an undercover cop, and I forgot what my undercover name was, and I was like struggling to figure out what the name was as I was leaving the area I was undercover in. So like I almost blew the case of my own dream.
Nice.
Okay, so one last question, two last questions from Brooklyn, and then we're cutting it off. Okay, so okay. Brooklyn, you get the last ones. Have either of you ever considered playing rugby? And Chance, what did you play in football?
I'm assuming you're asking what position. Never considered playing rugby because I never got the chance. But if given the chance, I definitely play rugby. And in position, I play defensive end and outside linebacker.
Brooklyn was offensive line.
I
have personally, I have considered playing rugby. It's just, I'm already in enough violent sports as it is. Like,
yeah, exactly right.
I have a black belt in Taekwondo. I'm 3-2 in competitive jiu-jitsu. For the longest time, it was my dream to be an MMA fighter. I'm kind of living that dream through this entire community, being a personality with a competitive record, trading for stuff. There is a sport out there, and I think it's in South America, that combines sort of soccer and kickboxing. And I've thought, this is the sport for me. I get to legally kick people in the head and also kick a ball into a goal. Because like I started out playing soccer and then switched to Taekwondo, so that was just perfect for me. That's like the perfect game for me, and I'm just sad that it's not something we do here, probably for logical safety reasons, but it would be so much fun to play.
To answer before you had to answer the thing from Nazario that he just put in the chat. I did play tight end my freshman year, but then I switched to defense going forward. I did both my freshman year, and then they just put me on defense. So I did play a little tight end.
All right, folks, we're cutting off the questions here. It's time for us to say goodbye. So, Chance the Titan Ellison, 4 division champ, Who knows how many more belts he can fit over those shoulders of his or on his waist? We don't know. Wherever he puts the belts is up to him. Where can the good people find you?
Oh, a lot of stuff. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at chancewars_91. You could find me, Full Metal Media. I do a lot of stuff there. Worldwide Movie Games, kind of doing stuff there. You can find me Stardust and Letterboxd at ChanceT83. You can follow my YouTube channel at Chance the Critic on YouTube, and also follow the podcast. Check out the podcast that I have my buddy Russell Howell, Notorious by Chance, wherever podcasts are found.
And you can find me here at Multiplex Entertainment, working around the league with Nico, and also Sports Battlefield, and we'll get the wrestling stuff out of the way soon. We're trying. Again, it's hard to write questions for auto racing when you don't give a shit about auto racing. So we'll get the tournament up and running soon. But yeah, you can find me here at Multiplex Entertainment. You can also find me personally on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Suave Regoli. This past Friday morning, Grant Gregory and I had a discussion about the predictions for UFC 225. That card just happened last night. So if you have pay-per-view or if you have a free stream, watch the pay-per-view, watch the fights, watch my video with Grant and see how wrong we were or how right we were. And also you can catch me. I think Dave Goodger is going to be hosting a Star Wars discussion at some point tonight on Multiplex Entertainment as well. And then you can find me in the Full Metal Geek match for Take 3 in Worldwide Movie Games. Red Rover charity event for Kirk and Daisy. I have a dog too. Everybody loves dogs, and it always sucks when they get sick and we either have to put them down or just watch them suffer. So give back, donate. This is a weirdly sad note to end the show on.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. That's the Titan, Chance Ellison. I'm the Cosmic Nightfury, Nico Suave Regoli. We just took you around the league. Thank y'all. Have a great day.